Hi, Julie Torrens here. Well, I was so surprised at the amount of interest in the fact that I make bookmarks for my work for children. So I thought, well, let's make a simple but easy bookmark. And we'll talk more about it, but I just have a cereal bowl and I'm just fitting it in there as close as I can. I have a piece of my Amazon Basics watercolor paper, which apparently, and no surprise, they white labeled. So I think now it's the company. I'll make another one. I think it's the company that made the watercolor paper that now it's being advertised as, because I was keeping it in my my shopping cart, because then if it goes on sale, I usually get a notification from Amazon. So anyway, it may not look like the one that I've showed you, but okay, the circles are good enough. Use what you have. If you have cardstock, I think this would work fine with cardstock, but we're going to be watercoloring, and I am just going to cut out, and looks like I'm going to have some more scraps for my little journal that I made to hold watercolor scraps. But this is a piece we can obviously do something with. I'm not going to throw that away. And honestly, even these little ones we can, but I have to be careful how much I save because my space is limited. Okay, I'm just going to cut one out. We will see what we have time for, and if I have time to do another circle, I will. But this is fun. It is easy. It is cheerful. And if you're making bookmarks for children with your watercolors, well, honestly, with almost anything, if this is a child that still puts things in their mouth and teeths on it and drools on it, I would not make bookmarks for that. That needs to, unless you're going to like plastic laminate it or something. You know, there's chemicals involved in all this. Now, I want to cut this in half. And I just am going to make it like, you know, it's in half, but I'm just going to pinch just so I get a sense of the middle. And then I'm going to go as straight as I know how. I'm just kind of looking. And if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. But I'd like it not even kind of perfect, but I'd like 2 half circles. That's my goal. Okay, they're not perfect, but they're fine. 2 half circles. All right, I'm gonna get myself a piece of cardboard. People are asking, why do I do my watercolor on top of cardboard? I do it instead of using stuff like wax paper because it's absorbent. And so as my watercolor gets on top of it, it's not making puddles too much. You know, I guess it depends on how wild I get. All right. So I've got my Rosa watercolors. Use whatever watercolors you have. My metallics are out. Wasn't really planning on using them, but certainly could. Now let's see how I can arrange this, that maybe you can see a little bit of what I'm doing. If I put them here, does that make it that you can see the colors? Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I'm trying. Okay. See, I don't want to have shadows on top of this. All right, I think we're good. Get my pencil. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a fine line, like a border on the bottom. You probably already guessed what we're going to do, but that's okay. Again, nothing perfect, just to help guide my hand as I go along. Okay, great. Now I'm going to make sections. This is going to be a piece of citrus fruit. So I'm just going to make a teardrop shape right here. And another one. And this could be a lime, this could be a lemon, and that one's going right off. If you've ever sectioned an orange, you know it's not perfect. And we don't care. So I've got this stray line there going nowhere. Now I would be using a pencil that's a lot lighter than this, but I wanted you to be able to see. All right, as I said, this could be a lemon, this could be a lime. I'm gonna go ahead and draw on this one, and I'm gonna try to go a little bit faster now that you've kind of seen it. If you can hear noise, the lawn guys just got here, and it seems like they start out under my balcony and hang out there for a while, and then they move on. So we're just gonna listen to them. Can you see that it does not matter? Like, if this is perfect, I hope you can, because I don't want you to be nervous. I want you to just go for it. All right, so we've got our two little citruses, and I'll make this one your classic orange. So I'm wetting my brush. I've got a small round brush. I'm trying to, without dripping yet. I think I've looked at this. It's a Royal Langnickel. I got it for $1. I got it at the craft warehouse. It was some leftover. So I'm just using pretty much the pure pigment of orange. I think, yeah, they call this flame red. I think it's orange. And I'm going to start right on that outside edge. I am not worried about perfection. Just get some orange. And I'd like, if I can, to not have white between the rind and the air, you know, right on that edge. But where it exactly falls on the rest of this, I don't really care. Need a little more water. Okay. Yes, so I make bookmarks, in case you're new, for where I work. I take care of children that are intensive care at home. Ventilators, tracheostomies, PICC lines, other kinds of lines, monitors. They all need a little help, and I work at night so that parents can sleep. The parents, everybody's insurance is different. You know, a lot of my clients have government assistance with insurance, and depending on what state you live on. But for the most part, can you see I got a few orange marks on here? It doesn't matter. Don't let that kind of stuff worry you. Okay, let's keep going. The next thing I'm going to do are these sections. And they are made up of tiny little cells. If you've ever cracked open an orange, you'll see, you know, there's those little cells. Now, I am not going to draw all those little cells. I bet you're glad for that. But what I am going to do is I'm not going to necessarily have it be a solid color. I'm going to have variations of the color. So I have a very, can you see this? A very watery, same orange, same color. And I'm just going in here right now with this. So the parents are entitled to usually 8 hours or sometimes 10 of a nurse so they can do whatever they want for those 8 hours. Well, generally, I wouldn't say 100%, but a pretty good percent pick nights so that they can sleep. And then they do the care during the day. Maybe one parent goes to work and the other parent sleeps. And there's often other children in the household. So that's what I do. And one of the things I like to do, I don't know about every nurse. I work alone. I don't know what other nurses do, but I have a strong feeling that others read to their children. Working at night, you're trying to keep things quiet and calm and all that. Depending on the age, it depends on how much they sleep. They often have a tube feeding, so they don't, you're not giving bottles and things at night, but you might be still feeding them, but it doesn't wake them up, usually. I mean, anything's possible. But yeah, reading to them. And even though they're pediatrics, many of these children are old enough that they pick up on a story. They pick up on reading. Some of the times I am reading a book where I'm showing them the pictures as we go along. Most of the time not. I mean, even if they're even just able to see, if they have vision, then holding a picture up is visual stimulation, and it's a good thing. But for the most part, I need to really wet this down again. For the most part, I'm just reading, and it's just it's just calming. Just having someone read out loud. How many of you have audio books that you put on just so that you can go to sleep? Well, they're no different. But yeah, when children, especially children that follow the story, I have had it where, I can say, do you remember where we left off? Nod head. And do you remember this part? And I can read a little bit. Yeah. Can you remember this part? Read a little bit. No. Okay. So that must be, but if you have a bookmark, hey, that helps. All right. Now, there is like a whiter membrane that's around all of this, but it's not whitey white. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this very watery orange. I've got some kind of a yellow up here. Now, not all watercolors come with a white. This set did, and I'm going to use it because it's going to make it more of a pastel. And I think it'll go good for the spaces in between here. Well, that looks like the same color, doesn't it? What am I going to do about that? Okay, I'm going to take my brush with just water. I'm going on top of that, taking a paper towel and blotting it up. See? Gone. And I'm going to get more white. And I'm going to add a little cad yellow light. I want it to be a different color. That's my main thing. I want it to be a different color. Let's try it down here. Oh, that's better. Okay. And you're thinking, well, you can still see the pencil marks. It's all right. It's all right. I have never handed one of these over and had some, wait a minute, I can still see pencil marks. Oh, please. Of course not. They're so happy to have something in their hand. Parents as well as children. But these can be so many other things. If you are one of the junk journal followers of mine, this makes a cool belly band. You know, if you're doing a tropical journal or maybe a kitchen journal, I mean, there's just so many ways that you can use this. And a belly band is a cool way. Another thing is you can use this instead of a tag. Now, you may have noticed that no matter what shape on my bookmarks that I make for work, I don't put dangles on it. I just think it's something that at any point could come off and be swallowed. So I don't put holes and put little ribbons and things. But if you're making it for an adult, go for it. That's cool. That's fun. And again, I want to emphasize, I do not even bring them into the house if there is someone that is apt to put this in their mouth, even if it's not who I'm taking care of, but if it's a sibling, this could end up on the floor and end up in someone's mouth. And we don't want that. Now, if the dog gets it, well, sorry. I mean, I don't want to poison a dog, but I don't think I would. And I don't think it's common for a dog to eat paper, but I know a puppy could. I think twice about a puppy. I mean, they try to eat a shoe. They like anything that you're interested in, so, you know, think about it before you hand things over. I think that orange is looking mighty fine. Okay, now, oranges have little seeds, but remember I said they've got like those little cells? I'm just going to switch to a bigger brush. It doesn't have to be a square brush, but I just want to move some water around a little bit. And just here and there, I'm just adding a few lines. And I'm going to go back to that original orange and add a little of that. That doesn't hurt. I mean, why add water when I have all this? And right where I put that, I'm just going to make some little marks. And even where I don't have water, I'm going to add some little marks. Just to give it, you know, some variation. So, is that everything about a bookmark that you ever wanted to know? You know, if you are giving a greeting card, and I went over a little bit right here, and I'm just picking it up with my brush. Putting in a little homemade bookmark is kind of fun. All right, now I'm taking that bigger brush, and now I'm just going to kind of move these around. Like I said, I'm just giving it a little variation. Make it look like maybe it's a little bit wet or a little bit shiny. Just some color variation. All right, I've got some places that my second color went over, and I'm just gonna either blur it out or pick it up. Let's clean it up a little bit. All right, got two more. I'm just gonna put this on watery because I just have, ooh, I got some purple in there. Well, we're not gonna go with that. Let's just pick some of this up. Well, and that's pretty intense. That's all right. Water it down. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna let this one dry. We're not done. I'm gonna let it dry. And I'm gonna grab another one. Alrighty. I am gonna make this one I've got green over here. I'm going to make this one a lime. So I'm going right into a color that's called green. I'm going to put it right there. And work on my edge. So you can have a citrus belly band. You can have a citrus bookmark. That's what I'm doing. You could make it smaller. Get a little ramekin. It doesn't have to be a cereal bowl. And you could make a pocket out of this, right? Yeah, sure could. Good scrap buster. Definitely a good scrap buster. Sorry that I'm got quiet. Okay, that looks good. All right, same color, just gonna water it down. And I'll mix in the rest of this green. Not sure what color that was, kind of an olive green really, but that's all right. More water, really watery. And I'm gonna fill in these sections. And I'm gonna go ahead, now that I feel like it's okay if I go a little faster. I'm just picking up, then again, it's not that it's a square brush, it's that it's a bigger brush. Does it look like a lime? Really speaks of summer, doesn't it? Now you could also turn these into a wedge of watermelon. I have a video where I made a watermelon bookmark that was just a rectangle one, but you could certainly get that cereal bowl out and get yourself a slice of watermelon. Why not? Now I have 2 more sections, and I know I don't have enough color. So before I'm completely out of color, I am going to start making a little bit more. Because if you wait till you're way to the gone bottom, it can be a little bit harder to come up with a similar color. And I know it had a little bit of this olive green in there, so I'm just putting a little bit of that in there. All right, now I've got a bigger brush, so of course everything's coming out more. That's all right. Let's see what this does. Yeah, we're close enough. This is a fun design if you're working on like a fruit bowl kind of a thing, or I mean, when I see this, I'm just picturing in my mind tropical birds, colorful sun umbrellas, all kinds of things like that. All right, I like that. Let me know in the comments what you think. Now, on a lime, that outer edge, I think it's got like a little bit more yellow. So I'm going into what's called cad lemon. And it's got some green in it, so it's not bad for me to go ahead and clean that up while I'm at it. And I'm just gonna make a watery, kind of a spring green. I'm gonna clean up that yellow a little bit more. All right, now I'm going back to the little brush. Yep. And dab, dab. And here we go. Now, hopefully this is a different color. It is. It is. Isn't this fun? I think it's fun. No pressure. We're not in a race. We're not having a juried art show. We're just making a little something that's going to make someone smile. Yeah. They are not going to judge it harshly. They're going to, whoever it is, whether you put it in a greeting card or give it to an avid reader that you tucked it in a book you got them. Maybe you have one of those little libraries. Do any of you have those in your neighborhood? If there's one here where I live, I'm not aware of it. But where I live, there's an entirely different complex right across the main drag from where I live. I mean, directly across. But it's all owned by the same. They have one. They've got one of those little libraries. And there are always some nice books in the Friends for the Library. And to share a book with a bookmark in there. Isn't that nice? I think it's nice. Maybe you've got an Etsy shop and you could even put the directions to your Etsy shop on the back and put it in a book in the little library. Why not? Why not? I know there are people that volunteer at their children's schools or any school, grandchildren's school, whatever, reading to children. Well, in less than an afternoon, I'm just rubbing out a little place where, I don't know, there's just a little clump of paint that I just wanted to thin out a little bit. All right, now I'm going to add some variation. I'm going to get that bigger brush. And I've got two kinds of watery green here. So I'm just going to kind of take a little of both and just give it a little variation. Oh yeah, that's nice. This time I'm just making some lines. Do what the muse tells you to do. Very watery. I'm gonna move some paint over where I had more white than I'd like to see. And I think that kind of looks like those rows of little cells that hold the fruits, juice. When I lived in Arizona, we had a lot of citrus. Well, I was in the desert Southwest. It's not the whole state, but in Tucson and in Phoenix, lots of citrus growing. All right, I'm gonna let this one dry. And I'm gonna bring the orange one back. It's very dry. Well, a little bit wet there. That's okay. I'm gonna give it a little blot. A little more. There we go. Okay, little brush. I've got some kind of a reddish, brownish color here. But really, the seeds of an orange are light. So I'm going into my white. And that was red enough that it kind of made it orange. I'm going into umber, which is kind of a neutral brown. Yeah, beige. I like that. A beige leaning towards orange. I had a little paint. Oh, a little water on the ferrule. When you get water drops on here and you go to paint, that water is going to run down into your brush eventually, and then all of a sudden you're going to have bloosh. So you really want to be mindful of water on the ferrule. The ferrule is this metal part. All right, let's add some seeds. Enough jibber jabber. And I'm just making them teardroppy. Well, I guess kind of almond shape. So they're not a teardrop like a watermelon. Whoever gets this orange is going to say, Mom, you got the ones with the seeds in them. I can tell you right now, though, some of those are the best flavor. I mean, a good navel orange is a good navel orange. I don't argue with that. But as I said, we had a variety of oranges. And the ones with seeds, ooh, they juiced up nice. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. Go back to my green. It's very dry. I'm using the same color. And I'm going to give it a few seeds. Like I said, kind of almond shape. Put a seed half on, half off. Why not? Didn't that just adds a little something, something, doesn't it? Okay, let's finish these puppies up. I just think they're gorgeous. Grabbing the old famous Sharpie marker. And right now, this is August. I can't even tell you the date. It's the 12th or the 13th, I think, 2024. But I'm gonna move this. I'm making a little bit of noise, sorry. Okay, I'm gonna start at the outside because that's where it's the driest. And I am just gonna start my black outlines, and I am not going for perfection. I'm gonna be in front of the pencil line. I'm gonna be behind the pencil line. I don't care. It's all fine. And you just enjoy yourself. If really, really making sure that you're on the line makes you happy, go for it. Absolutely. But if you're like, and it's not that I'm like, I don't care if it's nice. I want it nice. In my mind and in my eye, that's not what necessarily makes it nice in this case. Because it's nature, and it's pretty rare that nature is that kind of perfect. But yes, if you buy something that has been made on a computer and all these lines have been sharpened up and smoothed out, it is going to look different. But that's not what we're doing. And I do computer art. Ooh, boy, did I go off there, didn't I? That's all right. I'll show you what you do when you do that. You fill it in. That's all. Fill it in. No one's going to notice. If you feel self-conscious about it, pick another place and do it there. See, like I'll just make a little bit thicker over here. And then it looks like it's part of the design, right? I'll just make a thickness right here. And there. No problem. Now, I don't want it to look sloppy, but I don't care if it doesn't look machine made. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Are you going to make one? I hope you do. Or I hope it inspires you to maybe turn this into a journal topper or something like that. Yeah, why not? I like the green one, don't you? I think that one, I don't know, it really makes me happy. And I think it's because the colors are just a little bit brighter. Did you see I went off track and I just filled it in? Yep, that's what I do. There also might be a place where you left a little bit of white that you wish you didn't, and here's another opportunity to kind of change that up a little bit. Looking good. Aren't these fun bookmarks? Or maybe you're making a little bon voyage travel journal for someone who's heading on a cruise to the tropics. And you could put this in their journal. Be fun. Everything, and I'm not knocking it, I'm just expanding your horizons. Oh, can you hear that? Everything doesn't have to be vintage and brown and old. Doesn't have to be. Can be. But if you've got a friend that's going out on a cruise, I don't know that I would give them a journal that is a Titanic theme. I'm just saying. Don't think I would. But you know your friend better than I do, so. What do you think? I'm just loving it. I am. Am I tooting my own horn again? Susie Allen, am I tooting my own horn? Paula? They know who they are. Tooting my own horn. But I like these bookmarks. Look at this. 2 beautiful bookmarks. And I've got another circle that I could make 2 more. I hope that you found this fun. I hope that you found it interesting, inspirational. If you did, please consider giving it a couple of thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Today is a perfect day to subscribe. It's totally free and I'd love to get to know you. In the meantime, right down here is another video that's been picked out for you. I'm going to look for you over there.